Mr. Speaker, on page 74 of Budget 2024, it's titled Halal Mortgages. This isn't the first time the federal government has considered sharia-compliant mortgages. In 2009, CMHC had commissioned a study on the subject. The reaction of the Muslim Canadian Congress at the time had been clear. I quote its founder, Tarek Fatah, "This, halal mortgages, targets vulnerable and marginalized Muslims who are told that if they do business with non-Muslims, they will go to hell." My question is simple, Mr. Speaker. Who exactly is this measure aimed at? The Honourable Minister of National Revenue. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This is a financial tool that has not been proposed by the government, but that exists. What we've said is that we are going to study this matter to ensure that it is done following the rules. That's all. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Honourable Member for Drummond. Mr. Speaker, on Tuesday, the Quebec lieutenant was lecturing us. Canada is a secular country. We care about secularism too. We're Quebecers. They just want to pick a fight. You know the drill, Mr. Speaker. So if the Liberals are so in favour of secularism, can they tell us why they want to move the election date due to a religious holiday and why they want to introduce elements of sharia into the mortgage rules of this supposedly secular country? The Honourable Minister of National Revenue. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Once again, this is a financial tool that is absolutely not put forward by our government. We are looking at the product. We want to know if it is fair, if it follows the rules. We are just going to study this matter. There's no intention from our government to support. We just want to make sure it's fair. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Honourable Member for Drummond. Then why is it in the budget, Mr. Speaker? I don't understand. Anyways, Mr. Speaker, we are witnessing a clash of values. While the Minister of Justice intends to use Quebecers' money to challenge Quebec's law on the secular nature of the state, the Liberals are thinking of incorporating more religions into Canadian law. I will once again quote Tarek Fatah, founder of the Muslim Canadian Congress, on halal mortgages. We see this as the financial front of the Islamist movement. These are serious words. Will the government admit that it is not defending secularism, but rather bringing more and more religion into the affairs of the state? The Honourable Minister of National Revenue. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Once again, we are talking about financial tools that are available on the market. This is in no way a product proposed by our government.
Madam Speaker, yesterday my colleague for Drummond read the minister page 83 of the 2024 budget, which reads, expanding access to halal mortgages. The minister replied, no, we want to limit it. We just want to explore it, look at it, see if there's anything we can do. And besides, it's private. It's not a government program. In short, a great amount of unease. If they don't know where they're going with their halal mortgages, if it's not up to the government, if they want to frame it rather than expand it, what's it doing in the budget? The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary.
Speaker, and merci beaucoup pour la question.
Thanks very much for the question.
Not mean exclusion, and that's why we really need to make sure that we are protecting Canadians with products that already exist within our financial institutions, within private companies. And that's why the government is now announcing to consult with financial service providers and diverse communities to understand how federal policies can protect Canadians from abuses. And I hope that all parties across the aisles can get on board with this to make sure that Canadians in this financial times, in these economic times, are protected.
The Honourable Member for Manicouagan. Madam Speaker, we may have a partial answer. Over the past few months, the media have been reporting dissatisfaction among members of the Muslim community with certain positions taken by the Liberal government. According to Radio-Canada, a Muslim group even threatened to cut off the Liberal Party's funding of $680,000. That would mean they're leaving the Liberals for the NDP and the Conservatives. The Liberal solution, as always, is to pander. Are halal mortgages in the budget an olive branch extended to a fringe of the Muslim community? The Honourable Minister. Madam Speaker, I think the bloc is going off the rails a little bit. They don't know where they're heading with this. They don't want to vote in favour of the budget. even though there's good things in it for Quebec, there's a whole bunch of things that are important to Quebecers. So they don't want to talk about those things because they know it's good for Quebecers, but it's not good for the Bloc.